out here.
What you got there, buddy?
We came out here to argue. We came out here.
I got what's happening in your culture.
What's that?
This is what's happening in your culture.
The child of the devil.
I know that.
What are you doing about it?
I'm not disturbing a peaceful church service.
Were you at the murder mill yesterday in Milwaukee?
Why would I go down there? I don't
To
even
obey
know
God,
about it.
to love God.
I don't even know. About
You
it.
do now.
Hey,
You do now, and you'll be held accountable to God for it.
yeah, you're doing a disservice to the pro-life movement.
Good.
We're not part of the pro-life.
Good.
Well, okay, it's
We're abolition.
True pro-life.
Pro-life Trump says babies that are born in incest and rape deserve to die. We're not pro-life. We're abolitionists.
The pro-life movement says that mothers who murder their babies are victims.
Yes,
They're not
George, just
victims.
use critical thinking here.
Really, I know a gal that was a victim.
Most of them aren't victims. They're
Most
murdered.
of them.
They're murderers. They're exceptions.
Most of
Struck
them.
down and forced to take drugs or held at gunpoint. I don't see how any woman is a victim of abortion.
I had a
just like everybody
sister-in-law
else.
that had an abortion, and
Okay.
she suffers from it all the time.
made
She
herself
was
a
in
victim
high
now.
school.
Well-
Was it her fault?
What's that?
She was in high school at the time. Was it
So
her
she
fault?
got
Still her
pregnant?
fault. Yes.
Yes.
Like
Does she
under
choose
her
to
own
have? Does she choose to have
Well,
sex?
Now you're going to a different subject.
Because it's
It's
the
sin.
same subject.
Does she choose to have sex?
Does it?
Sin
Which
leads
one of
to
you
sin.
here does not sin?
So we don't live
Which
in
one
our
of you?
sin.
Sir, don't deflect. Don't deflect.
Did you?
Don't deflect.
Did you?
Does she choose?
sin?
Does she choose
Did
to
you
have?
sin today?
Sir, don't deflect. You're
Are you
deflecting.
getting angry?
It's not a
Sir,
victim.
you're
Are you getting
deflecting.
angry?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you're deflecting.
I've had 3 abortions, George, before I was saved. I was forgiven. I repented. I'm no longer living in sin. I'm not going to call myself a victim. I chose to murder my babies. And I'm a murderer. I'm a redeemed murderer. Just like anybody who hates their brother in their heart is a murderer. So you cannot sit there and say that these women are victims when they're flipping us off and saying, I love my abortion.
I don't know anybody that
Wait, well, if
Someone did yesterday to me. She flipped me off and said, I am so happy I had an abortion. You have no idea.
We
She
get it
literally
all
told me
the
that
time.
yesterday.
Yes, we hear it
You would
all
know
the
it if you
time.
joined us.
I'm not going to join.
Why? not?
Why?
Because
Why
you're-
would I?
Because we love
Because babies are being murdered.
Because you care about these babies that are being
Children are being
murdered.
murdered.
I raised 6 of them.
Okay, but these ones are being murdered.
They're not being raised.
4,000
I
babies
didn't-
died yesterday.
I didn't,
Their 6 children didn't do anything for them.
Raising a big family is not going to save children from being murdered.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with your
Come join us.
anti-abortion stuff.
Come out to the murder.
But I don't think you should interrupt.
You don't
the
agree
church.
with us. You're not with us.
We're exhorting them to action. We're
You
provoking them
literally
to do
called us
what the
stupid.
church is supposed to do.
No, I think you're trying to provoke them.
You call us stupid.
to good
Not
love and good
anger,
works.
but
To action.
You're not with us.
To love and good
No,
works.
You are against God.
No,
Jesus said if they hate you, they
Wait.
hate me. If they hate me, they hate the one that sent me. You hate God.
We're not out
You
here
need
to
repent.
separate.
Okay, please tell me, why won't you go out to rescue your neighbors from death when it's commanded in Scripture to do so?
True Christian,
There's a lot of other things. I help people all the time.
But
We'll do
are
other
those people
things?
being murdered?
good
This
works
is
I
the
go out.
least of these,
to
George.
rescue those.
It says-
What is
They
the
need
worst
to-
sin?
It says,
Is that the worst sin?
it says to whatever you did for the least of these, you did for Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I do a lot for the least. I help.
What about these least?
People that can't afford to fix their houses. I go fix their houses.
I think
for
those
free.
are all good things. Those are all good things.
Should I give that up and come and?
You don't have to. You don't have to give it up. We're not asking you to give it up.
God will
You
make
can do this
How
too.
many hours do I have in a day?
An hour a week.
You watch
Say
football?
all you want.
You watch TV.
Abortion is wrong.
sacrifice whatever time or money. That's what we do.
Do you read the newspaper?
Sacrifice for the least things. We'll lay down our lives for
You
those who
don't
we
really
love.
think that abortion.
Do you take time to relax?
But do it where it's not disrupting a church service.
Well, we need to be
It's needed
we need to be
here.
disrupted if we're
I
ignoring this.
presented a ministry to Al Spittler a week ago, and none of the elders showed up. They left me in the shadows. That's how much they care.
So it's a personal thing.
No, it's not. It's about the babies.
No, it's a personal.
It's about the babies.
Sir.
You got in an
This
argument
is
with
the
Annette,
truth
didn't
that is
you?
on it right
No, this is about the
Sir,
babies.
why are you so hard-hearted
Yeah.
against your neighbor?
We're calling
They're
them
being
brothers and
Did
murdered.
I say I'm for that?
You are in your actions. Your silence.
Thank you. See, he
You're
loves
supporting
that
it
we
with your
came out.
silence, sir.
See, John.
There's people that are thanking us for coming out.
You would
There's
stay with
people
us
that
because
are,
of your pastor.
yeah.
Sir, what is so important to you that you'll neglect this? You'll neglect that which God has destroyed nations
Can't
for.
do everything.
No, we're not asking you to. We don't do everything. But sir, true and undefiled religion.
I know all this.
But what are you
In
doing
your
about
mind,
it?
But not in your heart.
What actions are you taking? You're letting babies get murdered.
Helping people.
But what about
I'm
the
helping
the
people.
most needy
I'm
people?
helping people.
The most needy people.
All you are is alienating people.
Sir, we're exhorting you to love and good deeds.
Do you think whenever all these people move down there because you're making so much noise,
No, it's because they're running from the truth.
It's because they want to be
They're running
comfortable.
because they want to worship.
We became your enemies
not
because
worship.
we bring you the truth.
You're not my enemy.
You've made us your enemies. Then you're
Oh,
only
now
the truth.
I'm your enemy.
If
You're
you're an enemy
making
of God,
us
you're my enemy.
your
Yes.
enemy. Because we are calling our brothers and sisters to stand with us. We're pleading for the lives
You're
of the
making,
preborn.
I'm making you my enemy.
If you're an enemy of God, you're our enemy. And opposing rescuing preborn babies is being an enemy of God.
I would think you'd want to support us if you're a Christian.
Yeah.
In the
you
absolute
know,
least,
Be
you would
thinking
say
it's just
thank
like
you.
all the rest of the people that are thanking us and accepting our literature and saying,
I
yes,
got your literature in my trunk. You gave me some already.
Now do the next step and read it.
But
Yes.
I read it the last time you gave it to me in church.
There's two different ones. The one, I didn't hand you the same one.
But again,
Why don't I go and protest because
rescue.
people are dying from starvation?
They're dying in the womb. Yesterday morning.
More people are dying right
Oh, no.
now in
Next time,
Africa.
go to the
No,
food
sir.
pantry and stand outside with a sign that says "Pray to end hunger."
No, but
instead of giving them food,
I take-
say, "I'm going to
I
pray for
take
your
food-
hunger that
I
it goes
take
away."
food to the
Well, don't
food
do that.
pantry.
You shouldn't do that. That's too
shouldn't?
much action. You should pray to end hunger.
I shouldn't take
Nope,
food
just
to the
pray.
food.
Nope, pray to end it. Because that's
The
what
food
you're doing about
pantry?
abortion, right? Yeah. Do you see the hypocrisy
That's a
of you
response to
saying
abortion.
Comparing your words to the
To
words you're
hunger.
giving us.
I
because
shouldn't go to the food pantry and give food
We're
to the...
comparing
Not
your
if we
logic.
shouldn't go to the
Your
death
logic
camps
is
for
we
babies.
shouldn't go to the abortion mills. We shouldn't try to.
No, I don't say that. I said
You oppose
go to
that.
the taverns. Don't go to the easy pick.
We go everywhere.
Go
we
to
go
the-
everywhere.
Sir, babies
Everywhere.
are dying in that building too.
Yeah.
No, there aren't.
You're
Yeah,
stupid
they-
if you think they're not.
Yeah, they are.
You think that nobody's on birth control in there?
IUDs,
Oh, now
all
you're
that
just...
stuff.
Yep, those are abortifacients. Where's the?
You would know that if your pastor talked about it.
well,
You have to take this seriously.
If you actually listen to church, you'd have heard a lot of what you guys are promoting.
I listened to what he preached, and he preached on Romans 13, obeying the government, even though the government has made this legal. So we should obey the government that has made this legal.
You didn't hear the whole sermon.
I heard.
He
no.
said, until it goes against the word of God.
And this does.
This does.
This does.
Murdering goes
And
against
that's
the
what
word
he
of God.
said
So
now.
we should bow
So
down to
you're
the
just
tyrannical
picking out,
government.
all you're doing is picking out what you want to hear
That's what you're doing.
to go with your cause.
We,
Whether
This isn't our
Now it's
cause.
affecting your
Read the
ability.
Bible. The Bible says to rescue these children from death, to love your neighbor, to treat others the same way you want to be treated.
if you don't get real active in this like you guys are, and real enthused about promoting this, which is fine,
Because babies are being murdered.
but
It's an emergency.
if you don't do that, you're a sinner.
Well, I mean, I would expect.
Should I have to go out like
If
you
you
do?
oppose
I wouldn't see
us
why you
like
wouldn't want to.
did and call us demons, then yeah, I would say you're a sinner.
Well, you called me the same
Because
thing.
not everybody here. Yep, after you said that to me, I did. I said you're a child of Satan because you're doing exactly what Satan wants you to do right now. You're acting like the pro-aborts.
Let's pick and choose.
No,
You're
it's
picking
not
and-
I'm
picking
not.
and choosing.
I'm not
We are
pro-abortion.
doing something godly.
You are with your
call us
actions.
demons for it.
you're picking and choosing going to the food pantry over saving babies that are being murdered.
So I shouldn't go to the food pantry.
No.
You should say
you
babies
can
are
do
being
both.
murdered. It's the needy.
You can do
it's
both.
The least of the
And I
least.
shouldn't.
You
can do
can
both.
do both.
You never
We're not
did.
saying
Like
to pick one or the other.
yesterday, a woman in Wautoma called me up. She could hear water spraying in her house somewhere. I went over there and spent the afternoon fixing her water leak. Didn't
Why?
charge her anything. Now should I have gone here with you guys?
You can do both.
You can do both.
How can I'm over there now?
Saturday morning.
There's different days. There's
Saturday
different
morning I
hours.
was fixing.
They come there after you're done.
Saturday afternoon I was fixing another place.
Or you could
and I
put-
don't charge.
Children were being murdered. You could put that off until then. A child's
How do
life.
you put off a water leak in a house?
Well, because same reason. If you had a,
See, what I do
hold
is
on.
not good. What you do is great.
No, we're not saying that.
Say it's not good, but
If-
you said it.
If there was a just hear me out. Hold on.
Yeah.
Just hear me out. If there was a water leak in there right now, you can even hear the water gushing. Someone came out here and they were gonna hack us all to pieces with a machete. What would you do first? Stop that person, or go stop the water leak?
Well, I'd stop that person
Why?
because that's immediate.
It's exactly what
So do you see?
This year.
Children were being murdered, and you're gonna put the water leak that you're talking about above
so
them.
Saturday I shouldn't have gone and fixed that water leak. I should have run around trying
Well,
to find an abortion.
You just said that you would have stopped that person and put off the water leak, right?
Right.
So why not do it for these preborn children being murdered? They can't defend themselves.
Where would I go for that? I could just run
I
somewhere.
can tell you.
Where?
1428 North Farwell Avenue in Milwaukee.
And what would accomplish when I went down there? Would I run in there and stop something? No.
Well, you can stand out with us with a sign or just.
And you guys stand out there and you pat
Yeah,
yourself
we do.
on the back.
No,
and-
we
No.
offer people help, and we plead for the lives of these babies that are being murdered and butchered. And we plead for the nurses, and we plead that they would get new jobs. We plead for the security guards who are guarding the doors and ushering the babies to death. We are just crying out to the voiceless, because we're a voice. If we had no voice, these babies have no voice. We're the only voice they have. That's it.
And most churches don't do anything about it. I know because I've been doing this for over a decade. The response of the churches is pathetic. It's
And if
embarrassing.
will you sign this
No, I won't.
petition?
Why?
It's to abolish abortion.
So
I'm
you're.
not connected with your.
So I'll look at it.
Yeah,
You'll
you
decide
can
it.
look at it.
I've seen.
So you'll give time to help out people. You'll give time to help.
This is for Governor Evers. This is for Governor Evers. Abortion is murder of a preborn child. With your support and approval, approximately 6,000 babies are murdered in the state of Wisconsin each year. We're signing petitions to the governor. You won't do that because you don't want to abolish abortion?
No, I just don't want to be involved with you people.
You can look at it.
It has nothing to do with us. It's about
not-
babies
it's not
being
about us.
murdered.
In your hands.
Oh, so it's a personal, it's an ad hominem
Just
attack.
like you. Just like you.
How is just like me?
You didn't get your way in church, so you came here.
No, we go to plenty of churches. This is not personal. We go to plenty
We go
of
to churches almost
This
every
is not the
Sunday.
only
Do a
church we've
disservice
ever done.
for your cause everywhere you go?
No, we
Or
don't.
just
How
the
so?
churches?
No, we don't.
How so?
We call people who actually have a heart for the babies and that will stand with us, that
I don't
actually come
know
out.
who doesn't have a heart for
The
the
people
Most
like
people
you.
here.
The people like you who say they do, but then they don't
Sir.
in their actions.
Sir,
Your
hold on.
words.
Sir, you make excuses for why you will not love your preborn neighbor on Saturday
sad.
morning. You'll help out a lady who has a leak in her house, but you won't rescue babies from being murdered.
Exactly. You can't even sign
Think
a
about
petition.
it. You'll help
That's
out
sad.
people who are hungry, but you won't rescue babies from being murdered. What's
so
more
I
needed?
help out other ways.
You
So
can do this
I'm a real
too.
sinner because I help other people.
Because
I'm-
you're
I'm
saying your good deeds outweigh your bad?
I'm saying that you're,
all have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
and now you're deflecting.
So now you're making excuses for your disobedience.
You guys do that all the way through this because you rehearsed this for 10 years.
No.
Well, I've heard apathy that's coming from you for over a decade, sir. I'm used to
So
it.
you're well rehearsed.
Well, it's because I hear it all the time. That's why we come to these churches, because professing Christians don't care about
Rehearse
this.
or
It would be a lot
experiencing the
better if
same
you didn't
apathy.
stand here and
Why?
call everybody bad sinners and
I didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
several times
We
I didn't
never
do
did
that, sir.
through innuendo.
Sir, you're making a false accusation.
Yes,
I didn't
you
do
are. You're
that.
bearing false witness.
And you're very prideful, sir.
I'm really sorry.
You're neglecting
I'm
justice.
sorry that your
You-
pride is hindering you from actually doing what's
You've
right
hardened your
and
heart.
signing in
It's
a
not my
petition.
pride.
Yes,
If-
it is.
I'm
Yes, it
sorry
is.
for you because you could have done a better job to promote your viewpoints and save babies, not just pissing people off.
How so? How
You're
so?
provoking people to action, not anger. If you're angry,
Why
that's
didn't
between
you
you
come
and the
here
Lord.
after church service? Why keep
I
it going?
have came here. I
Why-
have came here. I have spoke to the pastor.
Yeah, I-
I've tried to meet with the elders.
Why didn't you-
I've taken the steps that you're supposed to take. Now we are calling our brothers and sisters. Regardless of what the pastor thinks, we obey God, not man. If we know our brothers and sisters can come out to the abortion mills to stand to save babies, then they should.
And most
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, most of the people here stand for saving babies
Well,
by
hopefully
not
they will.
having an abortion.
It doesn't
They
say
don't want
babies from being
abortion,
murdered.
don't have
They
it.
should come and try to rescue those that are taken away to the
But-
slaughter.
What you did here, the disservice you did to this is by disrupting the service. If you'd have done it before, when the service started, if you'd have,
we did.
We did.
We did.
We did.
Then
We were out
Yes,
here
sir, we
before
did.
the
But
service started.
when the service started, we had to move because of you.
You didn't have to move.
No.
You didn't have to move.
But we were out here before the service
And
started,
during the
sir.
service,
They came
I
and
could hear you
started-
speaker.
Good.
because
No,
of their
not good.
actions.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You hurt your own cause
No,
by doing that.
I'm not hurting the preborn being murdered.
You got the same line. Why not listen to? I'm not trying to say don't do this.
Well, it doesn't matter if you say it or
I'm
not. I'm gonna
saying-
keep doing it.
I'm saying before service, after
We did.
service,
We did do it before
but not
service.
during service.
We did do it before service.
Not during service.
Well,
If they
How-
would have responded and kindly and embraced us, then maybe we
Some
wouldn't
people
have.
came over and talked. I didn't
Right.
come because
and
We
they
did.
and some of us
We did.
and they opposed us.
And some came and got in people's faces and projected anger. So you're either going to have some people that stand for it and some people that are against it. That's just
They're
spiritual
not
warfare.
against. They're not against anti-abortion.
They're against.
They're against the.
In their
the
inactions,
procedure you're
they
using.
are.
They're against
say
having
they're-
them.
No, they're against what you guys are doing to disrupt our church service. You don't have to disrupt a church service to get your point across.
Well, maybe we do if people aren't listening, aren't obeying God. They're living in
Aren't
disobedience.
helping your cause by doing that.
That's your opinion.
No, I.
For
That's your
125 people.
47
about
years.
100 of them said
I'm
the
sure
same thing.
you don't know everyone's hearts and minds.
Well, I'm
People-
Just
sure
like you don't-
Some people are just
You
cowardly.
obviously don't.
Yes, I don't claim to. I leave that to God. So
So 47 years of this happening to children, day after day. 47 years.
Was it
And what's the response of the
60
churches?
60 million?
Well over 60 million.
Okay.
Including
And I
because you.
say that to a lot of people. I was at a family get-together and somebody was talking about abortion, and I said, I didn't know the number. I thought it was between 50 and 60 million, and everybody got real quiet. And two of my relatives are nurses. One of my sons is a nurse, and the whole conversation changed.
Mhm.
Did I disrupt the family get-together?
Maybe a little bit, and that's good.
No, I didn't. Everybody was glad to talk about it. When you disrupt the worship service.
and a lot of people were glad to talk to us. They were glad to
I'm glad to hear
support
that.
us. So yeah.
After and before.
Well, of course. And the people
not
that want,
during.
well, if,
Try
yeah, the
not-
people
Well-
want to go and listen to the sermon. We're not going to sit there and chastise them and say, "How dare you go listen to a sermon?"
We could hear you down.
But we weren't
Good.
saying those
Your,
things.
your speaker went on
Just-
and on and on.
Well,
I
just
couldn't hear them. I was up on the hill. I could not hear.
Ask
what
yourself
they
you
were
this.
weren't listening too well.
Ask yourself
I
this.
can hardly hear in this ear at all, and somewhat in this ear, and I could hear it.
Well, what's more important?
Well,
The fact that this happens to children, or
cause is
are we?
most important. Do justice by your cause.
We are.
Saving
Don't,
babies.
don't agitate.
We need to be agitated.
No,
The
you
truth
don't.
We need to be
agitates.
disturbed.
Yes.
Not at a
Yes,
church
we do.
The truth does
Because this is
agitate.
happening.
The truth does
And we-
affect.
people
And you
care.
did your cause a bad disservice.
No, we
No.
didn't.
Yes, sir. The pro-life movement is doing a disservice.
Yeah.
The pro-life movement.
Well, I know
Well,
you don't have to preach that to me. I know that.
I think I
cannot
do.
blame the apathy and the people's actions. What they choose to do, that's not on us. What
Well,
they choose to do, if they
wouldn't it
choose
be-
to come out, good on them for obeying God. If they choose to ignore God's commands and try to blame it on us, shame on them.
No,
Shame on
they're
them.
not blaming you. It's
Shame
your
on them.
technique.
Shame
Everybody
on
hates
them.
what we do.
Shame
You know
on
why?
them.
Because they hate Jesus Christ.
Shame on
You
someone.
think everybody here hates Jesus Christ?
Most of them, yeah. What
They
are
can profess
they're in
Christ with their
rebellion.
lips. Yeah, but if they're in rebellion, if they're disobeying Him, it's in your actions speak louder than words.
That's what Scripture says. They
Anybody
profess to
can.
know God,
Exactly.
but by their deed. Well, no. We are supposed to judge. Judge righteously. Righteously. Judge with righteous judgment. And I hear that everywhere I go. Don't judge, or
But you don't know it's in everybody's heart.
I see their actions.
Here,
I see my actions. I see their actions.
The people
all-
whose heart,
okay,
whose
next
heart
Sunday,
are for the babies,
next
took our
Sunday,
literature.
next Sunday, unless we all come out of church and go march with you guys, we're just totally.
You don't have to be with us. Just
No,
you-
I mean any with your cause for your.
well, it's
To
not.
save
It's not our
babies, to
cause.
save
if we don't,
babies.
if we don't go out and do what you're doing
If you
somewhere.
don't, if whatever you don't do for the least of these, you're not doing for Jesus
Okay, what are you
Christ.
doing for all the kids that are starving in Africa?
We're doing for the least of
What
these.
are you doing for those least in
I
Africa?
actually
What are you
have
doing
a
about them in
compassion
Africa?
child that I support every month. So yes, that is something that you're referring to. But these are the least of these who are being murdered, who are not going to have a chance
Here in your
to
state.
How about all
receive
the
funds.
kids that are getting shot in Chicago?
Right.
Are you doing
Those
something
are
about that?
also-
Yeah, I'm voting against.
No, are you taking action about it? Not just voting.
That is an
You're
action.
deflecting. You keep deflecting. But
Sir,
these are the least of these.
You guys keep deflecting too.
No,
Sir,
because we're
you're-
keeping it focused on
you
the
are,
babies
'cause
who are
that-
being murdered.
That's what I hear from people. Why don't you go do that? Why don't you go do that? Why don't you go do that? Well,
we
they're
should
murdering
also
people.
Do this and do this and do this. That because that's what you guys are.
Well, we go by the urgency of the situation, what people need the most.
You mean
Yes.
the kids dying in Africa is?
Sir, this isn't Africa. This is America. This is
in
Wisconsin.
America. We're doing what
okay,
we
so you
can.
If I was
can't
in
help your
Africa,
brother in another country.
If I was in Africa, yeah, I could help then. But I'm in America. I'm in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They're murdering people here in Wisconsin.
Yeah. See?
So I need
a lot
to-
more in
Babies.
Africa are dying.
Not from abortion. Not. I mean.
Well, they're dying. Doesn't make.
And some are from abortion, and they watch our videos, and we're able to broadcast live of other countries, and they watch our videos at the ministry, and they are encouraged in turn through
all these people
other
in
countries.
Africa without food are watching their TV.
Sir, why
There's
is
a lot of people in Africa
Sir,
watching our videos.
why are you
Yes,
more worried
a
about
lot of
Africa
them.
than right here in your own
I'm
homeland?
more worried about that.
Well, you keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Well, because I have to have something that you guys aren't doing, because that's what you're doing to me.
No, we're not.
It's the
Yes, you are.
We're not telling
They're
you.
protesting and
We're
Sir,
not saying don't go to the food pantry and come
you just
out here.
you did too.
No,
I
we're
said
not.
We should do it for the least of these. These are the least of these. Where are your priorities? The babies that are being murdered should be the
Okay.
top priority.
Sir, we
Someone's
also.
starving to death and they're 90. It doesn't matter.
That
No, we're not
matters
saying
too.
that.
Oh,
That
Sir,
matters
maybe
too.
they're part
It's
of
not
these.
one or the other.
Okay,
Sir,
there
you just-
go. It's
You're
not
giving me
one or the
excuses
other.
for why you don't need to love
I
your
can do
neighbor.
one thing, but if I don't do this,
You
I'm
should
wrong.
try.
Sir, why would you not want
stand
to?
For these
But
babies.
I don't
You
have
keep
time to
making
do
excuses.
everything.
You have time to do this. I guarantee you do.
Really.
1 hour a week. You have I guarantee
Where do I
you.
go for that?
There's a Planned
I just told you.
Parenthood in
I already
Oshkosh,
told
if
you.
That's the
Okay,
nearest
let's
one
see.
to
That's
you.
about an hour to get there from my place. So there's half a day shot.
2 hours.
So
3
would you do it to
hours?
feed
That's half a
people?
day.
Would you do it to feed
No,
people?
3 hours
Clothe
is not
people?
half a day.
What's that?
Would you do it to feed and clothe people?
Well, I can do it right here.
Well, that's where the local murder mill is. It's in Milwaukee. I don't know if you have one closer.
There's one in Madison. There's one in Green Bay. There's one in Appleton.
I'm against that. Yeah,
The-
I'm totally against
the family
it.
that-
I talk against it.
Well, but you
What
got.
else? But if I
We've
go
already
stand-
told you what else.
If I
But
go
you've hardened
there
your
with a
heart.
sign, is that going to?
You don't need to hold a sign. Just come out.
Don't even sign the petition.
come out.
If I don't deflect.
We're not. We're
Because
adding.
don't deflect.
We're adding to it.
Don't deflect.
Your words and your actions
Don't
speak
deflect.
volumes.
Here.
Uh,
This takes you almost no effort, no time.
Yeah, you're making excuses that you can't
No.
even sign a petition.
all I want to impress.
This takes you. It'll take you 10 seconds.
Just all I want to do is suggest to you if you did a big disservice.
You won't even sign a petition, sir.
You're
Did to
making
me.
excuses.
Hey, you did to me.
You're making excuses.
You made a big.
You're putting your apathy and your inaction on us, and you're blaming us. You're making excuses.
Because of what you
we're
did, what
standing
you were
here
doing.
and
You did a
treating murder like murder.
you did a big disservice.
Because murder is
You won't even sign a petition.
murder.
You did a big disservice, both of you.
No.
Okay, who's doing a disservice here?
The person
You're
who's trying to-
justifying not going out to rescue babies from death. You're doing them a disservice.
I'm justifying.
You are.
abo-
You've been doing.
abortion.
Yep.
You're justifying with your silence, with your lack of action.
Yep. Not
You know,
signing the petition.
With your you won't even sign a petition.
Why should I? It's going to
Because
do no
babies
good.
are being murdered.
It's going to do no
It
good.
does no good if you don't do anything.
That-
It's going to do no good.
That we have
So why did-
millions
so-
of people sign this. And
so
give it to
feeding-
their neighbors,
It's
that's
gonna
going
do
to
no
Okay, feeding people and helping at a food pantry does no
It's
good.
going to do any good is in the ballot box.
No, it doesn't, sir. We put pro-life politicians in office and they do nothing.
It starts with
Well,
our
then
local.
they aren't pro-life. You
Our
should go
local.
But we vote for them. We keep voting for them.
Well,
Yeah,
go
you're voting for
protest at
Trump,
their
aren't you?
house if they didn't do it.
I've gone to the legislatures. I've gone
We've
to
been
the courthouses.
Robin
I've been to
Boss-
them.
yeah,
We go
Robin Boss's
everywhere.
house was bombarded by everyone in Burlington, all the abolitionists. Yeah, with letters. We speak to the governors. We speak to the legislators. It starts from the bottom up, not the top down. You need to come with your local legislators.
Top down.
No, the bottom up.
Right. This is for
Not the
the
Sir.
top
top.
down.
This is for the top.
Please stop making
Governor?
excuses.
We're back to the ballot box.
No, we're not. We're
Sir.
like
Yes,
we
you are.
said.
You're
We
gonna
went
start at
to
the
Robin
bottom.
Boss's house.
You're gonna
We
start at the
give
bottom.
letters to we sign petitions. We give letters to the local legislators. The top is Trump. That's the top. We're not starting at the top. We're starting at our lesser magistrates. They have a duty to stand before God and obey God, and we hold them accountable, as every Christian should, because because we can't let pagans run the nation.
And we have let them run the nation for 40.
And who doesn't know that?
Well, but
Going in
You
and
know
doing
it.
something
You know
about it are two
I
different things.
Sir.
Ballot box is where you solve that problem.
no, it's not.
But yet you can't sign a petition.
It's not just all that you can. It's not all that you do. We go to the ballots. We go sign the. We go vote for godly politicians who fear God. But most Christians won't vote for them because
But if I don't come out with a sign, I'm no good.
you don't need a sign. Just come out.
If I don't come out, I'm no good.
You could
I'm
save
not
a
saying
baby
that.
and you're not.
I'm just saying, why
You could
won't
try
you?
To save
I
a
can
baby,
save a
but
baby.
you're not.
I can save an old person by helping them.
So why won't you save a baby from being murdered? Honestly, why? Why?
Why don't you come and do some plumbing?
I could come help. I do other stuff. This isn't all we
Where do
do.
you live?
Where do I live? Well, I live here in Wisconsin, but I travel a lot. So yeah, we do help other people. I've helped the homeless before, but I don't say, well, I'm going to help that person and not do anything about the preborn, because I know when and where they're being murdered, and so do you now.
Go with a picket sign or maybe no sign.
What's that?
Can I just talk to somebody?
Sure, come out to the murder mill Saturday morning.
No, I mean talk to somebody without being connected.
You don't have to be connected to us. I don't care.
Yeah, there's people that are not connected to us that go to the abortion mills all the time.
It's not about us. It's not about joining us.
It's about obeying God.
What I'm saying is, I'm no good unless I go to an abortion. I can't just like I was saying about the family get together we had, and I brought up said something about all the babies. That's not good enough.
Well, the vast majority. Hold on.
It counts.
The vast majority of professing Christians will excuse themselves from going out there. 99.9%. How do I know that? Because I've seen it for over a decade. I have lived it. I've been out there by myself many, many times, because professing Christians like yourself make excuses for why they don't have to love their most needy, most helpless neighbor, saying, I'm busy with this, with this, with this, with this. They do all these other things, but they won't help their most needy neighbor in their greatest time of need.
Like the Good Samaritan, like the people passing by the Good Samaritan. They all made excuses for not helping that person that needed them the most.
You had two religious leaders that walked by near the side of the road.
I know the story.
But you are the religious leader right now. You're making excuses. You're saying you're too busy. I'm saying no, you're not. We all have time. I've seen people go out there who are blind, go out to the murder mills, the abortion mills, who are blind. I've seen them out there in wheelchairs. I've seen them out there probably on crutches. They didn't make excuses. They easily could have. They had more excuse than you do, because they were disabled, but they still came out.
And people who don't have a license, don't have a car. There's people that are way less fortunate than you or I.
Yeah, I saw there's a brother named Kenny in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He didn't have a car, and he suffers from seizures.
Yeah.
He had a terrible seizure the other day. And he called an Uber to take him to Planned Parenthood, because otherwise that sidewalk would have been empty, because the local churches don't care at all. So, I mean, I've talked to and I've met many Christians who they could easily make excuses. Well, my back's hurting, or I'm in a lot of pain. I used to go out to the local murder mill with a brother who was in unimaginable pain. His back was killing him. He didn't say, "Well, I can't go out there because I'm in too much pain." I went out there yesterday and I'm sick because babies were being murdered. I didn't excuse myself. So many Christians that go out, they don't make excuses. They know when and where their neighbors are being murdered, and they go out, even when it inconveniences them, even when it's not convenient or easy or comfortable.
That's right.
I've gone out there by myself many, many times over the years. Because I want to? No, I don't want to. I never want to be out there. But I know, again, where my most needy neighbors are being slaughtered. I know the location. So if I don't go out there, why? I mean, if I knew where the next mass shooting was going to take place, even though the police would do something if I told them about it and they believe me, I'd still have a duty to go and try and stop them. And with the mass murder that goes on at your local murder mills, most people don't care at all. I know, because I've seen the apathy. I preach about it all the time. No, almost nobody cares. So we had to act with urgency, not just going to the murder mills, the abortion mills, not just going to Planned Parenthood, but going out to the streets. We go out to the streets. I've been in downtown Appleton, preaching the gospel, giving out gospel tracts, showing the people the city her bloody abominations, the bloody city her abominations, and going to bars, outside strip clubs to preach. I did that recently. Going everywhere, going to churches, going to Christian concerts, everywhere, because people need to see it. And because most professing Christians think this is no big deal, because they've been taught it's no big deal. I mean, that's the bottom line. Most professing Christians, I say professing because most, I'd say, aren't Christians. I mean, that's what Jesus Christ talked about in Matthew chapter 7. Talked about the few who would find the narrow path that leads to life. Most make excuses. They won't do anything other than pray and vote. But then when we do vote, we vote for compromising, spineless, pro-life Republicans. And you see in states where you put forth an abolition bill, a bill that would abolish abortion, they kill the bills. I know, I've seen it myself. Oklahoma and Texas. I just came from Texas, where, it's Senator Jeff Leach. You wouldn't know his name, but Jeff Leach, the committee that he was chairman of, he's a strong pro-life, church-going Republican. He killed that bill because he didn't want to punish mothers for murdering their babies. even though that's not biblical. Because whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall your blood be shed, Genesis 9:6. He killed that bill, going against God and his word. So the pro-life movement, they're not working to abolish abortion. Now there are some in there that actually do really care. I know. But the pro-life movement, they're not working to abolish abortion. And I don't say that because it's easy for me to say it. I've seen it. You've had what, 9 or 10 abolition bills throughout the country to abolish, criminalize abortion, to treat those who murder their babies as murderers. And there are exceptions, yes. Just like there are exceptions for people being murdered outside the womb. There are exceptions where the person doesn't get the death penalty. So you treat it case by case. But without exception, the abolition bill's always killed by pro-life Republicans. It happened in Oklahoma earlier this year in March. They killed the bill. They had pro-life Republicans from the governor to the legislature, everywhere. And even in probably the most pro-life state, Oklahoma, in the country, they still wouldn't hear the bill or pass it. Why?
Depravity.
I heard your story, your 10-year story now. But
oh, you've only heard the tip of the iceberg.
yeah, sure.
I got some.
Back to my point.
Okay.
I think you did a disservice to your cause.
Well, it's sad that you think that, and that's okay if you think that. We don't have to agree on that. We need to agree that brothers and sisters need to come out to the abortion mills and try to save babies. That's all that we did here today. We called our brothers and sisters to stand with us out at the abortion mills and to do what God commands.
I'm just suggesting that
people don't like to be corrected. People don't like to be called to repentance. Of course people
and
don't
that's
like
prideful.
disrupt a church service.
But then you cover it by saying we disrupted church service.
Yes, you did.
Well, babies dying are a little bit more important than a little disruption in a church service.
But you hurt your cause.
In your opinion, you think that. You don't know everybody that came to us and stood with us.
The ones I talked to.
And people that were there stood with us too. It's okay that they went to listen to a sermon and stood with us at the same time. Well, that's okay too.
Let me ask.
Sitting there saying that, that's your opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
No, sir, you don't.
But,
you don't.
But you're still hung up on us disrupting church service. You keep saying.
Then I
come out to the murder mill on Saturday, next Saturday in Milwaukee.
There's no sense me talking to you because
I'm hearing you. I hear you.
I'm saying you just did a disservice.
You think that. You think
sir,
that.
okay.
I understand you think that.
Okay, regardless of what anything we've done out here.
If I run out of gas, I'm gonna head out.
That's okay that you think that.
Sir, come out to the murder mill next Saturday. Don't excuse yourself from loving your neighbor.
That's what we are here to do.
You'll be held accountable to God with what you do.
That's all we're telling you.
Thank you. I haven't been judged yet today, but now I am.
And you judged us too, sir.
You have to.
You've judged us too.
You have to be